Hey everybody, Joe Christopher. I don't know how this audio is, so I may stop it, but let me record it anyway. I may have to re-record it. So again, it's been a few days, I've been a little bit busy, but I wanted to follow up with speaking, and actually I'm going to look right into the camera. Speaking and seeking an emotion, and kind of dealing with whatever comes up as. So the past few nights I've had a difficult time sleeping. I picked up my son from Outward Bound, and I don't have trouble sleeping at all. And it was very interesting trying to come up with what made me not be able to sleep. And I had a whole bunch of stuff going through my mind, how to utilize the tools we just found, how to communicate, and being proud of my son, and being honestly nervous on how I was going to integrate this with my ex-wife and my son and my daughter, and kind of implement some of the hard things that we were there for. We were having difficulty with. The biggest thing, obviously, in my mind was communication. Interesting how that was one of the things that came up last time was communication, but it was not knowing if what I was going to implement was going to become an issue between me and my son. I was getting a lot of pressure from my ex-wife to, get rid of a lot of his technology, his computer and his smartphone. And, everybody has their own process and concept. And my biggest thing was let's talk to him. Let's see where he comes out of this. He may say it wasn't a big deal. And it turns out, actually, as a matter of fact, I had a very brief conversation with him today. And he said, on a scale of 1 to 10, how important is it for you? And he said, well, it's a good question. He says, how much did you miss it? He goes, a 3. I said, why is that? Just the fact that I was able to ask him why is that, and him not getting upset was amazing. It was really satisfying to have a real meaningful conversation with him. And I just, it's exciting. It's hopeful to see him be able to use the tools and use the tools effectively with me. And I'm in a pool, so if that's why we're getting some echo, that's why. That's why I'm so close to my face. It's amazing how when you work through a feeling quickly, and actually there's another, when you work through a feeling quickly, it's not there, it doesn't hold itself into its body, and it's tricky because I had something that I thought I had let go of yesterday, but I didn't, and I think it's been on my mind this morning, and finally I woke up and meditated on it, and I'm like, you know what, I know why I did what I did, or said what I said. It wasn't to hurt the other person. It wasn't anything to do with being malicious or trying to get back at them. It was just what I felt. The question was asked, what was my high, what was my low? And I said my low was something that my ex-wife said. And we went back into the same pattern of conversation. And I used the tool, one of the tools they taught us was 2-minute step back or 2-minute break. So you physically remove yourself from the situation, and you take the first minute because your chemicals in your body flow through it, and it's there, maintain itself for at least a minute, and then you take the other minute to assess and evaluate the process. In 2 minutes, I think it's appropriate. So if you ever get to a point where you feel you're physically freaking out, take that 2-minute break, and if you need it longer, take it longer. So it was very interesting because I was able to use that the week of, or the day of, the second day of the training. So anyways, hope this was helpful for somebody, and kind of feels good to get back out here and start sharing some of the wisdom that I had learned. At a later point, I will go through some of the process. I think it's good to share and get that out there with people, because communicating is a two-way street. You have a communicator i.e. in this case me, and you have a listener, which is whoever's watching this video, and there's a lot of things that can go awry or just go, that can impact how we communicate. And I may say something, especially if we have a language barrier, that means one thing in your country. As a matter of fact, faggot is one that pops in the mind from Arrested Development. Is a cigarette in Britain, and it's a derogatory term in the United States. And if I say that in a regular conversation and you don't know that, you may get very offended very quickly, and that may throw off the entire conversation when all I was talking about was a cigarette. So it's interesting, again, just to keep in mind, you have one person that communicates and then one person who interprets that communication. And that's a very clear-cut example of how black and white a situation can be and throw off, somebody get upset, their feelings may get hurt, and that may be something that, if that isn't explained to the other person, they may walk away and never talk to the person again, for example, in a very extreme case. So, again, hope this was helpful for somebody, and hopefully this bettered your life in some way. Small ways, great. Bigger ways, better. Actually, it's not better, it's just different. So hopefully this was informative, and you got something out of it. If you did, please post something below, and subscribe to my channel. Thanks. Bye.